Great to see a full house in the Zoom room. Welcome to the 2022 pre-camp meeting. I'm Joe Carlson. You may have seen a few emails come through your way with my name on them, but I'm going to turn over tonight's program to our camp director, Kelly Wild, and I'll let him and his great staff and volunteer team take it away. All you, Kelly.
There we go. These microphones get a little tricky. Thanks a lot for coming out, for joining us as we get set for what looks to be a great 2022 season. We're so glad you guys are part of it. We've been building on building the past 3 years and looking forward to what we can share as far as scouting and fellowship here at Decorah. Please submit questions in the chat room and we will cover them at the end. Okay, so any questions you have, please put them in the chat room. Our one of our camping co-chairs, Ken Ortry, is there, and he's taking care of that. And we'll move it along pretty quickly because we know your lives are busy. And I'm going to just cover any big changes from the leader's guide was my question. And just a couple things. We've added muzzle loading this year. Laurel, our shooting sports director, is certified in muzzle loading, so we'll have muzzle loading now for both leaders and for the scouts. We have a pickleball court, which is going to be a blast. And of course, with the pickleball court has to come pickle costumes. We brought back the Decorah peak hike. And this is not something that's been pretty legendary as far as Camp Decorah goes. So on Sunday night, we will share the story of Peak Decorah and the importance of a Decorah peak. And then I believe on Tuesday afternoon, weather permitting, we will be doing the hike, which is a pretty cool thing to be a part of. We now this year, what's new to us all is patrol site cooking. So campsite cooking for your patrol. We used to do just the evening meal. Now we're doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And also on Tuesday, what we're doing is we're giving the scout craft all the ingredients that you guys will get on Wednesday. So you can send scouts up to practice, or you can go up there. They're going to be cooking different things with it, so you can get some good ideas. Plus, we're inviting the SBLs down to the dining hall Tuesday night to grab any kind of extra food stuff, anything that will complement your meal. So there'll be some other stuff there that isn't on the normal menu that they might be able to grab. So just a couple quick things that weren't in the leader's guide that we just want to share with you. And once again, if you have any questions, you can submit them in the chat room, and Ken will take care of those. This year, our program director is Patrick Zalewski. If you were at camp last year, Patrick was our shooting sports director, and now he's our program director, and he's going to talk a little bit about merit badges.
Right, so we've got a ton of merit badges that we offer, excuse me, ranging in difficulty from A to C is what we've got listed here. If merit badges in your A level is going to be stuff like shotgun merit badge, that's going to be like life-saving merit badges. Whereas C level merit badges, that's going to be stuff that you can do at about your first year of scouting. So this would be anything in Brown C or like swimming and such. Some of the merit badges require library or internet research. And because we do not have those resources for scouts to use, please make sure that you're reading through requirements, particularly handicraft has got a lot of these. I want to say also a lot of Eagle Trail merit badges too have a lot of prerequisites that need to be covered before camp. And so please make sure that those are covered, or we will not be able to award the full merit badge after completing camp.
If you go to your leader's guide on page 25, you're going to see a library of all the merit badges that are offered this summer. And in there, each merit badge has an individual listing if there's any prerequisites required with it. So it's a real easy to follow resource. Thanks to Patrick for helping to put that together.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. Now, all troops, if you're not, we need you to sign up for your merit badges. Please do so by June 20th, which is next Monday. After next Wednesday, we'll contact you about any classes where there's a scout is a solo registrant. According to BSA standards, we can't have just one scout and one merit badge instructor. So we're going to be asking those scouts to consider a move to a different class or the same class at a different time. We will be doing what's called a merit badge fair on Sunday night, so all the staff will be available to talk merit badges. If you have any questions on maybe you have a scout that wants to do something with his other scouts and wants to move out of a merit badge, that'd be the best time to do it. So we'll take care of all that on Sunday night as well. But please make sure your scouts are signed up for your merit badges by next Monday. And I'm gonna turn it over to Joe.
Yeah, we don't want to cause any alarm for you on the merit badges that potentially only have one person, but it's a relatively limited number where that's the case right now. But we do have maybe 5 or 6 classes within each of our sessions where that's the case, and we want to work with you to fulfill the desires of your scouts, whether it's getting them moved into something different, or if they really were absolutely dead set on earning bird study at Camp Decorah this summer, maybe finding a way to make an alternate accommodation for them as well. So we ask that you be ready for communication from us, and we'll have some good two-way dialogue on finding a way to make things work. In some cases, the solution may be to switch from a 10 a.m. archery into an 11 a.m. archery. In other cases, it might be selecting a different merit badge than what the scout had first envisioned. So kind of some back end items that I want to cover on my end here. So one thing that we do want to let our units know is that payment is required prior to attending Camp Decorah. One thing that we do as a staff is that we actually don't run with a business manager as part of our summer camp operation, and that allows us to kind of put those resources into some other things, including keeping the costs to attend low. But part of that is that we do ask units to take care of their payment before they arrive at camp in 2022. So you can do that a couple different ways. You can take care of it inside that Tentaroo online system, which most units do. You can also mail a check to our service center, or you can phone in a credit card, kind of a variety of ways that would happen. If you find that your unit is adding scouts or adults between now and your arrival at camp, and we certainly want to let you know that is welcome and that we are in a position to facilitate additional people. But if you find that you're adding anybody, just go into your Tentaroo account and make those changes that way. We hope that nobody's planning on going backwards with their camping number. If that is the case, a reminder that any refunds do need to be requested in writing prior to attending camp, and that's because we're making decisions on food ordering, staffing, things like that based on the registered numbers of people. Everybody received an invoice. If you have a balance due, you would have received that from me just within the last hour here. Please, if you notice an issue with that, communicate with us on the front end so we can get that taken care of before you get to camp. Trying to settle that out after camp occurs is sometimes a difficult thing. Also want to mention that we do have some pre-order items available online. So we've got 2 different types of hats as well as 2 different types of shirts. You access those as the unit leader through through your Tentaroo reservation, and those online orders will be open through 6/27/2022, and we'll have some limited quantities of those items on hand at the camp store as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Once again, any questions you have, feel free to write them in the chat dialogue, and we'll get to them at the end of our session. We're so happy to have our registered nurse Chester Hilton back, and Chester is going to talk a little bit about health and safety.
Hi. If you who were there last year, welcome back again. Big concern that I have right now is that our numbers for COVID are up in our county. Hopefully by the time camp actually starts, those numbers will go down. We will be asking everybody who comes the same questions they ask at the hospital when you come to the hospital. Have you been exposed to COVID in the last? Have you had COVID in the last weeks? I do have some rapid tests that I can do if it's necessary at camp, but if they haven't been exposed in the last 2 weeks that run camp, just like normal. Make sure if they bring any medication with them are in the original bottles, and if the masters are going to take care of I do have lock boxes for those. Yeah, I'm going to be handing them out. I need to have those medicines and the times that they make them at the time of check-in. If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask.
Also, a reminder that if any of your scouts or adults have dietary needs, there's a form within the camping website, and you can submit that Please, again, submit that at least 2 weeks ahead of time, and then you can expect a phone call from us to make sure that we understand those needs specifically.
Chester, there's a question in the chat if you could answer real quick, just asking, do troops manage their own meds in camp, or are all meds turned into the med officer?
If Scoutmasters want to manage their scouts vacations, it's perfect. And you do that. We do have a plastic box with a padlock that you can use. Or you don't want that responsibility, I'm more than happy to take care of the medications. Also, if you want to fill out the 2-week checklist, that's fine. I'm going to retire this year. So if you want to, I'm just going to ask them, the question. If they bring the sheets along, that's fine. Check them over quick as they check in.
Sounds like Chester's connection might be just a little bit choppy. So what he was sharing is that in terms of medication, he is set up to issue a lockbox to you as a troop, and then that allows you as the Scoutmaster to disperse medication in the campsite if you desire, knowing that, the individual Scout's medication schedule. Or Chester also said that he was willing to disperse medication in the medical office if that's your troop's preference as well. So we can go one way or the other based on what you prefer as a unit or what your unit's parents prefer.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joe. Moving on to Tentaroo items, dealing with our IT, and with us is Toby Adams. Toby?
Yep. We haven't gone fully into the campsite assignments, but if you've already signed up for that campsite, you will get that campsite. The waitlisted classes off the website, there is the listing for each week, what classes are open and what classes are full. If a kid has listed or your scout has listed on their site that they are on the wait list, that is not a guarantee. Although, like Kelly was starting and Patrick were talking about, was if we've got one kid per class and we've got to move them around, a lot of times that can happen as well too with a class that has one person on a wait list. They might extend that, they might move staff around. Or there's some classes that are very specific on, we only have enough materials or there's only enough time. So those may be, you may have to find a different class. So if you go out there and see there's 7 kids on the wait list, there's a good chance that that's not going to happen. Just be aware of that. And then make sure you're fully checked out. There's been a few troops that have gone through that have marked and assigned campsites, or excuse me, assigned merit badge classes, but never finished the checkout. So make sure, I think we've gone through and double checked that. I don't think there's anybody left, but any of those troops that haven't done their merit badges selections, make sure you fully check out when you're done so you're not stuck. And your kids don't get their classes because you didn't get checked out. And I'm willing to work with anybody that needs help. You can either work through Joe and we can set something up if we really need to. We're willing to get you all signed up and get everything proper. I'd rather have it all figured out than be stuck when your kids get to camp and can't get a merit badge or something else is wrong. So. Yeah, moving along. Questions in the chat, we'll get to them at the end.
Awesome. Thank you, Toby. And our staff will do what we can to get kids in the classes that they want, just to let you know. And we'll do a lot of that. If you have any questions, Sunday night, they'll be available, as I said earlier. Properties, our camp committee update. Here's Ken.
Good evening, everybody. From on behalf of the Gateway Area Council Camping Committee, we want to thank you for choosing us as your camp for summer 2022. We've got some pretty cool things going on. Probably the biggest thing is that we have built a new camp store. So previously we had a trading post that was offset a little bit from camp. And it was great facilities, but we are now much closer to where everything is at. So just outside of the dining hall, you'll get to experience the new camp store. We'll have all your favorites still there. We've got slushies, pizzas, Gatorade, water, camp merchandise. It'll all be available at our new camp store. So please, it's going to be just, it's awesome. It looks just great. The other thing for some might be a little bit of a shock is some logging activity that we had. So I guess, yep, there's a picture right there. So what we had was a disease called red pine pocketed mortality. Essentially what was happening is that the trees, the red pines were being, the disease would attach to the top of the tree and kind of eat it going down. And we had been in contact with the DNR and a couple of forestry people over the last couple of years. And they said the age of our pine trees and just kind of how it was, we were going to be losing those pine trees in the not too distant future. So the Gateway Area Council connected with a logging company, and we had the red pines harvested. So what that does do is it creates these open spots. So the biggest ones will probably be right behind Doll. You'll notice quite a bit going to Arapahoe that that there's a lot less trees there. And then also in the Chippewa and Cherokee campsites. We also should just warn people in the Chippewa and Cherokee campsites, you're going to have several speed bumps called the stumps still laying around. So hopefully you guys are practicing good campsite etiquette, no running in the campsites, closed-toed shoes, all those good things. But so it might be a bit of a shock, but again, it was due to a disease, and we found the opportunity to come in and do it right. Last thing, is for summer 2023, we have been awarded a grant through the NRA and along with some private donations in which we're going to be expanding our shotgun pad. You'll get the opportunity to come up and talk to Patrick, our program director, or Peter, our commissioner. I think they can fill you in more on kind of what's going to be going on. So that's something exciting we got coming on 2023.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. Moving on, talk a little bit about Friday night. Friday night is when we wrap up camp. If you do plan on leaving on Saturday, that's fine. We'll take care of you as well on that. But Friday night we start with our chicken queue that your guests are more than welcome to be a part of. That's something we brought back last year, and it's been very, very popular. This is followed by our very solemn flag retirement ceremony. If you've never experienced a U.S. flag retirement ceremony, this is a really, really cool event that both scouts and visitors will really get a lot out of. This is followed by our OA call out ceremony. The OA team will escort you back to our Russell Cleary ceremonial fire bowl and do their call out ceremony. Then followed by our camp awards that your troops and your scouts and your leaders are earned throughout the week. So a lot of fun happening on Friday night. It's just a great day to wrap up a great week. We start the week on Sunday. Our Sunday check-ins from 1 to 3. You check in at the Doll Hall. You have vehicle parking available in the parking lot across the road from the Doll Center. Troop trailer permitted in the campsite for the week, but all other vehicles you need to park in a lot unless cleared by myself for any kind of medical reason. There'll be a staff member who will be your guide, and they'll be your guide throughout the week, and they will assign you and they will guide your unit through medical recheck with Chester, a dining hall presentation with our steward, campsite check-in, shooting sports orientation, and swim checks. Now, as part of the campsite check-in, an adult leader and the campsite host will inspect the condition of all equipment and cabins, including screening and canvas and different things like that. There's a check-in log that we'll have you sign, and then when we check out, that just makes things a lot easier. Please make sure that all original health forms are brought to camp and copies of those forms. We keep the copies, you keep the originals, and if your scout has any allergies, please be sure to include an allergy fact sheet, as well as Chester mentioned before, any kind of dietary restrictions. We'd like 3 copies of your final roster. 2 will be turned into the office at check-in. And then after that, we'll have an opportunity for your group photo Sunday after supper. So check-in on Sunday from 1 to 3. Staff would not be available until 1, but if you need to get in early, just let me know. and we can definitely take care of that for you. Once again, any questions you have, feel free to enter them in the chat, and we'll get to those right now. Ken?
So Kelly, one of the first questions by Robert was talking about the Wednesday meals. Do you want to kind of, he asked if they were already pre-planned and anything else they should know about the meals on Wednesday?
Yeah, they are pre-planned. Next week you will actually get the patrol campsite cooking guide, which will give you your menu. Give you the ingredients that you're going to get that your kids will pick up. It'll give you the times that'll be picked up at the commissioner's area, and then also directions for the scouts as they cook it, as far as getting the water on for washing and different things like that. So you will get that next week. And that'll have all the ingredients that you will get for the menu. And as I mentioned before, we're also going to have some add-ons Tuesday night that your SBLs can come down and grab if they want.
Then Robert also asked about blue cards. I kind of answered it in the chat. We do take blue cards. They're usually turned in beginning of the week, and then staff will be filling them out, and then they return Friday night during the award show. Anything else to add on to that, Kelly?
Nope. Yep. If you have blue cards, we'll take care of them for you.
The other comment I would make on blue cards is inside the Tentaroo system, you have the ability as a unit leader to actually print blue cards at any time based on your summer camp visit. So you'll have an opportunity where you can go in and you can print those. It prints out in a format that's similar to what that traditional blue card would be, although it's not on blue paper. So another electronic resource for you too.
Just got a question about handicraft or any of those other merit badges that might need materials. Do they need to bring them to camp, or will those be provided at camp?
Material will be provided at camp. There is a fee for some of them, but they don't have to bring any material. The big thing with handicraft, Elias says, there's a lot of prerequisites, especially things like space exploration. There's some studying that needs to be done, and just some things that they'll need research to do, and we encourage them to do that before camp, because as we said, our Wi-Fi out there is not spectacular. So we ask you to do the prereqs before, but the handicraft items will be at camp, and there will be a fee for some of them to purchase.
Apparently Toma uses a lot of water or something because their towels never got dry. I would say yeah, the wind sometimes doesn't blow great at camp, so try to find your breeziest spots. But we do have some dryers available in the shower house, Scott, so that might be an option. Jessica had asked about Friday night, if they're going to have an earlier departure. It sounds like Friday afternoon, Kelly.
Yeah, sure. Just come and talk to me, Jessica. Just let me know on Sunday night at our leaders meeting that you guys are going to leave on Friday, and then we'll take care of everything on Friday morning. So then you guys can take off when you need to take off.
Terry had asked about masks, and I think Chester kind of spoke about that. But Chester, do you want to give some more insight about county policy and masking?
Most of the activities are going to take place outside, so masks won't be required outside. If you have someone that is visiting or whatever, we're going to go on a week-by-week basis whether we're going to have masks or not, because of the changes in COVID. It's been so rapid that but most likely we're not going to mask. So it'll be on a week-by-week basis if we do.
All right, thank you, Chester. Christy had a question about they have Too Deep Leadership, but they're having an additional adult coming during the week. Was asking about payments and how to register that person. Joe or Kelly?
That'd be a Joe question.
Yeah, so if you have adults that are coming in for a partial week online, again, as part of your Tentaroo profile, kind of the way that we do that, because those partial week adults, their days they're there is obviously going to differ unit by unit. So what we ask that you do is that you pre-purchase any of their meals through the Tentaroo system. So if you know that you have an additional adult that's showing up on Wednesday supper, you're going to go in and you're going to purchase meals for that individual for Wednesday supper, and then all day Thursday, all day Friday. And that'll get them into our registration system, and then also appropriate fees taken care of so that we're able to feed them. A reminder that any adults that are in camp for more than 72 hours, which basically works out to more than 2.5 days, do need to be registered members of the Boy Scouts of America. So they need to be registered in your local council or registered in the Gateway Council.
Robert puts in a request for
And-
Choco Tacos. We'll see about those.
Got it. On my order sheet, buddy. It's a Choco Taco. You got to have it.
Sarah had a question about safe scouting practices for sleeping. So specifically, do we assign cabins and keeping kids that are 2 years apart, sleeping quarters?
I can take that one. So you as a unit leader, we're entrusting you to obviously know the ages of your youth and to kind of do a little bit of pre-planning within your unit that way. What Sarah is referring to is that BSA youth protection policy calls for any shared tent space to be no more than 2 years apart. So if you have a 12-year-old scout, he can bunk with an 11, 13, or 14-year-old scout, but the 12-year-old scout would not be allowed to bunk with a 15 or 16-year-old scout. So we ask you as a unit leader to do a little bit of pre-planning that way. And let's say that as an example, you're bringing 18 kids and you do the math and you find that a campsite has only got 7 cabins, which gets you to 14, and you're thinking that, hey, we got to bring tents for the other ones. Just make sure that you're planning around any of those age gaps there. If you're looking to confirm the number of tent cabins that are available on a site, go ahead and reach out to us and we can answer that question for you pretty quickly that way. Any troops that are sharing a campsite with other troops, we will pre-notify you of that as well. And I think the only occurrences where that is happening is with Gateway Area Council troops that we've spoken with about that already.
Sarah asked also about the call out ceremony on Friday night, if we can call out other scouts from different lodges. I think the answer is yes. Anything else on that, Kelly?
I believe, and Joe may have to also respond, but I believe you need to get a letter from your council. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes, when you come to camp, just bring a letter from your council. This is something that most, that each council is kind of used to preparing. Sometimes that, happens through the OA advisor. So, it might be a volunteer in your council preparing that. So I wouldn't wait until the very last minute with it, but bring that letter with, and it'll just state that, these 3 scouts from, troop 1 of the Game Haven Council are able to be called out. And if you run into an issue with that during the week, we can work with you to try to make some accommodations as well.
Check-in times, Robert, and then Teresa had a follow-up on that. Like, are we still doing pre-slotted, meaning like troops would sign up for specific check-in times on Sunday? Kelly?
Yeah, check-ins from 1, and we aren't. We haven't talked about as far as assigning check-in times this year, because we have a lot of troops that are coming from out of council far away, and I know things can happen as far as traveling and stuff. But we'll be able to take care of you as soon as you get into camp. Once again, yeah, from 1 to 3 is when we'll be doing it.
Linda had a question about Kelly, if you could explain a little bit more about the Sunday night merit badge fair.
After supper and after let me just turn my light off on me. After supper and then after troop photos and stuff, my staff will be set up in front of the Doll Center, and basically they'll be set up by the program areas, like we'll have the shooting sports and the climbing and the handicraft, and they'll be there just to answer any questions you have on your merit badges. If someone comes and says, look, I don't know if I'm going to do this one and you want to switch, that's where we can do it. Is that time right there. And if they have, once again, any questions on as far as the any specific requirements, we can answer them as well.
Robert had a question about if there's any waivers or anything need to be signed for any of our off-site activities.
Yeah, and those will be on the line very soon. I'm gonna get them over to Toby. The waiver will be for the cowboy action shooting and then the high ropes course at UWL. Those are 2 waivers that will need to be filled out before you come to camp.
And then either Patrick or Kelly, Jess got a question. They got several scouts working on hiking merit badge. Will there be a counselor available to help sign off on that?
Or even Justin up in nature, but we can find someone to work them through on that.
Robert had a question about CPAP charging, and it looked like Chester had answered that. But yes, Robert, we have several places around camp that someone could charge a machine on. If they specifically need to have it plugged in, then there's a couple sites that would be specific. We'd want to have people at. We have run extension cords, or we've had actually some sites that do have power. I guess I'd have you follow up with Joe if we need to work on trying to figure out if you need a site that's going to be able to help charge and the CPAP machines. Kelly, can you talk about, Stacy had a question about what time Friday night do you anticipate things ending?
Usually around 8:30 is when things seem to be wrap up for your and usually all the troops will be ready to go after that time. They tend to get everything down before supper. And then once again, if your troop is staying over, we'll have somebody there for you. We'll have people in camp, and then we'll also provide you a breakfast on Saturday morning before you take off. So I would say about 8:30.
And then finally, Stacy had a question about some med forms expiring, trying to see about a waiver. I don't know if Joe or Chester have an answer for that one.
As long as he's a young man and they have an updated form, even if it doesn't have the physical at the time, I will accept that. Bring both last year's copy and this year's, and that will be fine.
Okay, I think, Stacy said if you could bring last year's copy and then as much of a form as you can fill out for this year, Chester would accept that.
Yep. So bring last year's Part C, which is the doctor visit, and then bring this year's Part A and B, which is the parent medical history.
Robert was asking about the campsites. So I don't think you sign up for campsites in Tentaroo. Generally, that's done through the office. Historically, people will put down a deposit for a particular campsite, and then we try to honor those deposits. So I would say, Robert, if you need to, either hang out on this call after we're done, and we can try to figure out where or how many scouts you have and kind of what we have slated. And then if need be, we can kind of work with Joe and Kelly to help figure out any of those things.
Yeah, and real quick, if you just bear with us a moment. So when you signed up for summer camp, you did request a first, second, and third choice for a campsite. We have everybody slotted into a campsite right now that fulfills anybody's first, second, or third choice. So we are in line with your, A, B, or C choice. There are a couple exceptions to that, but if that's been the case, we've communicated with your unit already and talked through that with you. It's just we have not had an opportunity yet to go in and physically assign those campsite changes inside Tentaroo. So if you are curious tonight on what campsite you are in, I can share that with you right now. It's like Robert, Troop 158, Blackhawk Council, right? You guys are in Chippewa campsite. I've got 778. You are in Arapahoe campsite. And I think I'm at a point where I can actually share this document on the screen and just help everybody see what we got here. This is a little, it's draft. It's not necessarily a polished document. So, forgive a little bit of the formatting, folks, but this lets you see what we're looking at. So Session 1, Iroquois campsite, Troop 22. Blackfoot Campsite, Troop 76. Winnebago Campsite, Troop 261, shared with Troop 1031. Chippewa Campsite, Troop 7. Cherokee Campsite, Troop 320. Apache Campsite, Troop 46, shared with Troop 322. Comanche Campsite, Troop 75. Session 2, Arapahoe Campsite, Troop 778. Blackfoot Campsite, Troop 19. Winnebago Campsite, Troop 191. Chippewa Campsite, Troop 158. Cherokee Campsite, Troop 4 and Troop 56. Sioux Campsite, Troop 110. Apache Campsite, Troop 61. Lenape Campsite, Troop 11. And then finally, Session 3, Iroquois Campsite, Troop 145. Blackfoot Campsite, Troop 15 and 515. Winnebago Campsite, Troop 72. Cherokee Campsite, Troop 4. Sioux Campsite, Troop 54. Apache Campsite, Troop 68. And we'll get these assignments made inside Tentrue later on this week, and then you'll get a notification email. If you're anxious on it, you can just hang on here in the chat afterwards, and I can make sure that we repeat that to you directly. And appreciate everybody being patient with us on that step not having been finalized yet online. We've been spinning some other wheels here locally, but we are ready for you in these campsites at Camp Decorah.
Any other questions we have? Ken?
There's none that I can see left in the chat. Nope, I think we're good.
Real
In
quick,
the
one slide.
go ahead, Bill.
We got one slide for everybody showing your key next steps. So make changes to those merit badge registrations or get those entered between now and June 20. Arrival time, we're going to handle everybody as a large group, 1 to 3, and I like that, especially knowing that people are coming from far out. Last thing we need is you stressing out because you're going to arrive at 1:30 and you had told us 1 p.m. Make it to us safely, and we'll be ready for you Sundays between 1 and 3. Take care of pre-order shirts and hats before the 27th. Work with your families on health forms. Complete payment in Tentrue. And Kelly, I'm going to let you say the last one.
And get ready for fun as we built back up in the Camp Decorah tradition legacy. There was a gentleman named Sam Hagerman that was camp director here for 50 years, and Sam was a person that was larger than life. And Sam lived by the motto that if it isn't fun, it isn't scouting. And that's what we're going to bring to you. We're going to bring your troop. We're going to bring your scouts, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it safely. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And we look so forward to having you join us at beautiful Camp Decorah.
We can't wait to see everybody this summer. Can't wait to meet those of you that are traveling to us from further away.
So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, okay? Because we're more than happy to answer any questions that you have.
Do we want to handle the final questions?
I think Ken's got him. Yeah, we shelter. All sites do have tables and a pavilion.
We're going to check with our aquatics director, David, and we'll get back to the group with details on those swim checks. I know there's a process in place for pre-arrival swim checks. Anyone that doesn't have a swim check, he's likely going to want to see that completed, but we've got a good facility for that with a nice warm pool.
One thing for you, Jessica, I see your question. If a scout arrives late, swim checks need to be done at least annually, I think. And so swimming merit badge is not enough to give you out of the swim test. That is something that is offered during open swim, and that is something that they take care of.
There we go, Teresa. Thank you.
Yep. We're going to stop our recording, and if anybody's got questions individually, just feel free to stay in the meeting here, and we'll get that taken care of individually. But you can, as Kelly said, you can always follow up with questions, and a member of our team will take care of that. And thanks everybody for joining us tonight and helping your kids get to camp.
Thanks for all you do.
Hey, Jason, if you're on still, I've got Troop 22 in Iroquois campsite, session 1.
They turned the light off on me because I'm down in the basement in my studio. So it looks like I'm just kind of floating there in the dark, isn't it? Hey.
I didn't know you were auditioning for Star Wars. Is this?
Oh, that's awesome. I should have just done it like that, just kind of appear. Welcome to camp.
Joe, can you answer Janelle's question?
Yeah, Janelle, as of right now, and I know there was a change. So as of right now, I have Troop 4 down for session 3 Cherokee campsite, 7 youth and 2 adults. Is that, yeah, Ron, what Ron typed in here, that's what I have down for Troop 4, is that you're in Cherokee campsite during session 3. And yes, Cherokee campsite does have cabins.
Teresa had a question about if Tentaroo can have the spots for Terry to sign up the scouts for classes.
Yeah. Toby, if you're on, do you want to take that one? I think we've got I think there's a chart that shows what's open and not open, right?
Yep, that's yeah, that's on the main website part. But yeah, they should be able to, even without the dollar in there, they should be able to sign up, or you should be able to select classes, and once the the money is credited, then it'll open that up to be able to actually submit the classes.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I've been communicating with Kelly and Joe on this. Our new girls troop has just been formed.
Oh, sure.
We have 6 girls coming to camp. Money
Yay.
came in this morning. I'm sending it out tomorrow. I am hoping that it will be to your office by Friday. That's why I'm a little worried about your cutoff day of Monday, getting them signed up. So, but we've already talked about Tenderfoot. So trying to help Terry get this all done because he's new to this too.
Yeah.
And Teresa, we'll do what we can to
Okay.
get him in the class. We will. And
Okay.
I know Brownsea, you mentioned getting him in, and Justin is just awesome. So
Yeah, I know.
we'll definitely work with you.
I'll make Terry go there too. He's a former scouter and a former camp person. So
We'll use him. We'll
Yep.
use him.
I've already got him being used in a lot of ways. Okay, thank you.
Joe, a question about Troop 56, the second week. Are they in Cherokee?
Yes, that is correct. And actually a question for Troop 56 and Troop 4. We had an individual from South Dakota register, and I've emailed her a few times to just try and get a little bit more information on maybe what unit she's from. Do either of you know a Susie Giovanati? Is that a name of one of your scout families for either of our South Dakota units?
Not for Troop 4 or 38.
Okay. Is there anyone from Troop 56 still on? All right. We'll keep working on getting that one figured out. And we're set up where we can accommodate individual campers. We just need to know ahead of time. Sounds like 56. I see. So yes, that is. It looks like that is a member of your unit. So just so you're aware, that parent came in and they registered. They registered their scout and paid for that scout.
Yeah, he's with
individually, one youth and
he's
one
registered
adult.
with us. He is registered with us.
Okay.
So we already have him. So otherwise we're probably doubling him up because he should already be registered with us.
if you would go ahead and check with that family and just ask them if they, if they think they paid online. Obviously,
Okay.
if the family paid and the unit paid, we'll work the money out. But
Okay, okay. Okay.
sometimes there's reasons where a troop will ask a family to pay individually online instead of through the unit. So
Yeah.
we'll do some checking on that.
One question about we do have a girl coming, one girl. How do we accommodate for that?
So question one, do you have female adults that are traveling with your troop?
Probably Susan. Just not.
Right.
Yeah.
We have Eden we have one girl that's Eden. Her name is Eden.
Do you have female adults traveling with your troop?
We would have the one adult of Susan who just had registered. So yeah, we had one female.
Okay. Yeah, so you're covered that way. If anytime you have a female youth participating, they need to have a female adult participating at the same time. So you're squared that way. But when you're planning usage,
Awesome. Perfect.
Plan for the female youth to be in a cabin by herself. And if you're in the Cherokee campsite, you should have ample cabins for that to occur.
We have a pretty good range dynamic with the boys. So we're the 2 years spread on age could become an issue there.
But we have plenty of room.
If we have plenty of room, we'll be okay.
We're talking to Troop 56.
And 56.
You're talking about 4 youth and 3 adults, right?
That's what we're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got a combination.
Actually, 5 youth. 5 youth.
Yeah, you've got a
5
combination.
youth, 4 adults. I think we're at.
Sure. You got a combination.
We have 2 add-ons.
Several campsites.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a combination of 20 beds and 10 cabins to make work there. So, but do a little bit of just pre-planning.
Well, we can sleep in 1 bed per night then.
Troop 53 is in session 2 in Upper Apache campsite.
Thank you from 56.
Yeah, you're welcome. Looking forward to having you guys.